यस, तो हमारे साथ जो है डॉक्टर सुजैन होने वाली है एंड फ्यूचर ऑफ नर्सिंग किस तरह दिखता है ये हम डिस्कस करेंगे उनसे. नाउ डॉक्टर सुजैन रॉबर्टसन मॉल्ट एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर है ऑफ हेल्थ, स्कूल ऑफ ह्यूमैनिटीज, सोशल साइंसेज एंड हेल्थ. सो वर्ल्ड हेल्थ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के हिसाब से ना अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 27 मिलियन men and women they make up the global nursing and midwifery workforce. So this accounts for nearly 50% of global health workforce. Of the 43.5 million healthcare workers in the world today, it is estimated कि 20.7 million जो है वो nurses है, midwives है. And at a time when the future of career seems uncertain, especially with artificial intelligence, हमारा job जो है वो replace करेंगे robots, the future of nursing जो है ना वो undeterred रहेगा. And UAE जो है उन्होंने identify किया health care as a priority sector. So the career path जो drive करेगा the next decade of growth is advancing efforts in delivering health services through innovative high-tech solution. So UAE ने transform किया है hiring approach, बहुत सारे incentives offer करते हैं to foreign nurses, free accommodation, housing allowance, return flight ticket, tax-free income, food allowance, medical insurance, education allowance, gratuity, transportation. So UAE Nursing and Midwifery Council ये establish कर रहा है to regulate the nursing and midwifery profession, promote कर रहा है advanced nursing and midwifery services and protect and promote the health and safety of public based on the highest standards.
Fantastic. So with this, of course, I think ideal time कि हमारे साथ guest भी इसी topic पर आएं और उस पर बात भी कर सकें. If you have any questions once she is here with us on the airwaves, you're more than welcome to participate. 05-8686-1003. आप हमें call भी कर सकते हैं. It's a toll-free number and that is 808-1003. And let's welcome her.
Yes, thank you so much for coming to the studios, Dr. Suzanne. It's a pleasure to speak to you today.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
Good morning, Dr. Suzanne. How it's been?
Very well, thank you.
Start of the week.
Yes, and it seems that the weather is getting better. Doesn't
Quite
it?
foggy in the morning as well, you know. People
Yeah.
were, poor visibility as well.
How
but
many summers you have witnessed?
How many I've now witnessed here? 4.
Oh, 4 years.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, which is
Exciting
lovely.
times when it comes to your industry, Dr. Suzanne.
Very much, particularly after the COVID pandemic. I think there was a real world awakening about how important healthcare is to a community's well-being.
Right, and that's what we were discussing the figures. Around 20.7 million in the world are nurses and midwives.
That's right.
Yeah, and so we would like to start this conversation by asking you, what does the future of nursing look like? Especially when a time in the future of careers, you know, it seems uncertain because sometimes you feel that, you know, what's going to happen tomorrow? You're not going
Yes.
to end up with a job.
Yes.
Artificial intelligence coming, rapidly increasing. So the future of nursing, according to you, Dr. Suzanne?
Yes. Well, I think the future of nursing is bright.
Wow.
Very bright. Because I don't believe, and there's lots of conversations about this and lots of writing that's occurred, that where will artificial intelligence land and how much will it change
Sure.
the work, the workspace of healthcare? And when it comes to nursing, human beings don't want to be cared for by anything other than another human being.
Absolutely.
Right.
And the central role and responsibility of a nurse is to care.
Yes. That human touch is not going anywhere.
No, not going anywhere. We might be able to create a robot that looks and feels and works like a human being, but we are very clever individuals as humans, and we know the difference between an artificial person and one that's real.
And will there be a transition? There might be, of course, but to what extent, Dr. Suzanne, for the upcoming generation in the industry as well?
So there is a lot of work being done on one of the most costly activities for any community across the globe is health. It's the largest expenditure on the gross domestic product other than a military.
Absolutely, yes.
And so economies across the world are looking very carefully at how do they structure their health system in order to ensure that it's sustainable. And so nurses, in particularly in advanced practice roles, are coming in to address that community well-being. And so nurses, when they establish themselves in, advanced degrees, specialty-based degrees, they're able to run clinics in the community. And so in many ways, supporting the preventative health, keeping people out of hospitals, which is what we want to do.
Yes, and if they are, they better be leaving soon.
That's right. Exactly.
With good health.
Exactly. So nurses are a more cost-effective way to sustain a health system,
and that's
being shown.
We've noticed during COVID, the hospitals were overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
And you needed so much of support staff, and the initiatives that UAE is now taking in accepting and asking all the foreign nurses to come here and set up base.
That's right.
That's a fantastic initiative. But UAE is a preferred location, as we've been mentioning, to pursue nursing as well. Golden visa is being offered.
Yes.
What more can UAE do?
Yes. I think the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health are working very carefully on really looking at this issue about how do we create a sustainable health system. And nursing is central to that. You can go onto the ministry websites and see the strategic plans for nursing, and in particular building specialty-based nursing programs, which is what the University of Wollongong is very focused on doing.
Okay.
The ministry has strategic priorities for where and how nursing can fit in and advance and support the health system.
World-class programs?
Yes, world-class programs. Yes. Wow. So the University of Wollongong is part of national committees in reviewing the curriculum for nursing, both at an undergraduate level and at a master's level. But they're very clear at the ministerial levels as to the importance of nursing and where it fits into the health system. And they're asking the health education faculties to address that need and provide their programs of learning to actually meet that need.
Has it been in recent times at the University of Wollongong, or it has been for some time?
One of the things that any higher education institute is required to do is get their programs accredited by the Ministry of Education. So that's a rigorous process. So we have lots of different higher education institutions coming into UAE, but not all of them are accredited by the Ministry of Education. And so, unfortunately, you'll have people who go through and do study on what is considered a very well-known university, but if it's not accredited here, then they're not going to be able to get the career advancement that they want.
They'll be hired, but
they won't be able to apply for a promotion because it's not a recognised degree.
Sure.
So the University of Wollongong is the oldest private university in the UAE, and we've had a strong relationship with the Ministry of Education for many years in ensuring that our programs are accredited.
Listening to Dr. Suzanne, I'm in such a calm and composed, right now I feel so heated right now.
Even for the future?
All my stress is gone away.
Oh, that's lovely.
Please tell us about
He's recovered even for the future sickness.
Please tell us about your journey as an associate professor at University of Wollongong.
That's very kind of you to say those things. It's lovely. So I came into nursing. I did my bachelor's degree, so I was university graduate, and as you know, the history of nursing is that you could do a diploma, and you didn't have a university degree per se, but I was of the generation where we did, and so I was very fortunate to receive phenomenal mentorship in my education. I went on to specialise in cardiothoracics, advanced practice. But I've always understood very clearly, and as a consequence of the education I received, that nursing is a practice-based discipline.
Sure.
So you must maintain your clinical skills. And so I've always had my foot in both camps. I've always been...
Is it? Okay.
Like, for example, I came originally to the UAE. I was part of the executive team that opened Cleveland Clinic in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
Wow.
And then I joined the University of Wollongong to support the opening of the health science programs. So
and since you said that you've been here for the last 4 years, if you can share your experience, the difference that you have been or you have seen comparatively to the countries that you've been before and right here in UAE.
Okay, so that's a very good question. So the phenomenal advancement, acceleration. That's what I think everybody is so impressed with.
Right.
With
Technology as well.
Dubai, and the UAE. I mean, they've just evolved and advanced so quickly. And so I think the most important thing that I've witnessed, and I'm so impressed with as far as the work that we're involved with the ministerial level, is the attention to quality. And making sure that whatever is provided to the people of the UAE is of the highest quality.
Correct.
And so there's lots of rebuilding of new hospitals. I don't know whether you noticed in Abu Dhabi.
Yes, we have seen
phenomenal structures. And if you have a chance to walk into some of those structures, they're designed according to the healing principles of an environment, as opposed to the old hospitals that were basically you walk in and they smell funny.
Right.
And it was all white and sterile.
In fact, we would want you to elaborate on the healing principles, Dr. Susan, for all those people who might not know.
Yeah.
Natural air, natural sunlight.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Exactly. The colours that we use.
Is there
the
any music
fabrics that we use.
incorporated?
Music therapy.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. So one of the things that you can now find is there's a whole science around the healing arts in therapy and music. And so the Cleveland Clinic has the Arts Institute, and Sheikh Shabut likewise is integrating those concepts where you can walk in and there's music playing, because we know how healing music is to the soul, isn't it?
Indeed.
Right.
Particularly when you're unwell.
Very much, yes.
Yeah, so it's beautiful.
Coming back to University of Wollongong, is there any criteria for nurses who would like to upgrade and get updated, get accredited? A few things that you would like to mention.
So they can contact us anytime. And
No
we're
age
there.
limit?
No, no age limit. That's right. They can contact us anytime. We're there to support them in understanding how they can begin to develop their academic awards to support their career progression. So, for example, at the moment we are doing a conversion program. As I mentioned in the beginning, many of our history of education in nursing was that it was a hospital-based diploma.
Sure.
Right? The apprenticeship system.
Right.
Before it became an education program, university program. And so we have many nurses in the UAE who are diploma-based, educated, and in senior positions. So they've got many years of experience, highly qualified, highly experienced. However, there's been a recent change in the licensing authority in the UAE, which is that you need to have a bachelor's degree in order to get licensed as a registered nurse.
Okay.
And so we offer a conversion program that is supporting diploma-based nurses, highly experienced nurses, to do that transition.
All right.
So that's one really experienced nurses to do that transition.
All right.
So that's one really important thing, because you don't want to lose that knowledge, that really important knowledge that's in the health system.
Correct.
And all of a sudden tell them that they can't practice as a registered nurse. So that's a program we offer.
And the time period required?
So they can complete that in 2 years, part-time.
Part-time, 2 years.
And we offer, I pride ourselves in being incredibly flexible in the way in which we deliver our programs. We offer them on weekends. We offer them in a way to ensure that it supports the busy schedule.
Fantastic.
Because they're all working full-time to do this program. So to support them to do that. So we are very flexible in that way.
So if you have any questions with Dr. Susan, please don't be shy. Do reach us safely on 05-8686-1003. You can also call us. It's a toll-free number, 800-81003.
This is Talk 100.3.
Yes, we are talking to Dr. Susan right now, and perhaps she's more like Florence Nightingale feel that we get from her, and also the messages are saying the same, that very therapeutic and very calming effect causing on our listeners. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Susan. Couple of things quickly. One is, of course, the open day that we must talk about. Apart from, getting recognized with the accredited diploma or degree, there is also an upgradation system if we can have or can know about from University of Wollongong.
Absolutely. So thank you for your kind comments. As far as the open day is concerned, they're really valuable. We know how challenged nurses are to come to the open days.
Dr. Susan,
because-
are there more men nurses or more female? Because female has always been more in numbers, but maybe.
Just recently, the UAE approved that men can actually now start enrolling. They've actually been able to do it at the high colleges of technology for a couple of years.
Okay.
But it's expanding and opening because absolutely, my husband's a nurse. So he's currently the director of critical care, and so wonderful career for them. Wonderful. They do just as well as women. So
Fantastic.
and the open day is a really good way to come and learn about the university in particular, come and meet faculty, ask questions, any queries. But we also understand how challenging it is for nurses because their schedules are so busy, often 12-hour shifts, sometimes night duty, and so they don't want to be they don't want to come when they're needing to sleep. So then we offer an alternative. So we reach out to anybody who's expressed an interest to be involved in the program.
Is it a regular event?
Yes, the open days are regular and they're posted and made available. You can learn about when they are by going to the University of Wollongong website. No, it's a very informative day. You can come and actually see the campus. The campus is beautiful.
Sure.
I mean, I love the healing. I mean, you talk about healing spaces. The spaces like the bean bags, the colour.
Correct, yeah.
Again, it's a brand new building.
Automatically, you'll feel good.
Yeah, you're designed.
But there's always been this myth or that understanding that what do nurses really do?
Yeah.
Check your fever, check your weight, if you have any blood pressure. How has that changed?
Yeah.
What are the career paths that nurses can look forward to?
So that's a really good question, and that is a cultural change that we need to make, and it's something that's happening globally. And it is an understanding that nurses are the largest percentage of the healthcare professional in any healthcare system.
Correct.
So the healthcare system are fundamentally dependent on nurses. And so when you think about that, their education and their specialisation is far more than taking a temperature.
Yes.
In many ways, the program of Masters of Clinical Leadership that we run at the university it prepares nurses to basically run a small business.
Wow.
Because when a nurse is a manager or a director of a department, a clinical department, it's actually a small business and a very complex business. And so they have many skills to be able to do that, and it's very challenging. They have to be able to walk the balance between, strategic planning and also the clinical excellence.
Correct.
But not only that, when you get your base degree in nursing, you can then choose to go in so many directions, not only in clinical specialties, everything from pediatrics to adults, to endocrinology, to cardiothoracics, so much variety.
You can open your own pharmacy also? No?
Yeah, that's right. You can become a nurse anaesthetist.
So opportunities even here in UAE, Dr. Susan?
So that's evolving. So as the understanding of nursing, and as I mentioned, there's many ministerial committees that are looking at how do we advance the profession of nursing in the UAE, and that's what I've been so impressed with. And there are scopes of practice that have been established for the clinical nurse specialist. So that's a position that is above the base registered nurse. You can then become a clinical nurse specialist, and then you can have a nurse practitioner. Which is a terminal degree for the clinical role, where you basically you're supported to be able to, as I mentioned, manage a clinic, operate the clinic, and run the
So
clinics.
when the doctor's on leave, then you can...
Yeah, that's right.
But these are the courses that nurses should...
Advance and
absolutely.
basics.
Yeah.
And it's only, for example, a nurse might get into... they start doing their base nursing, and then after a year they realise that they've got a real passion for quality. And then they go and specialise in quality and make sure that the clinical excellence is there. Or they might want to specialise in education, or they might want to specialise in research. So there's so many different pathways, career options, and they can choose to do that when they're 30. They can choose to do that when they're 40.
Exactly.
So the flexibility is always there. So the opportunity to continually develop and advance. And there's very few careers that allow that.
Sure.
That variety.
You think we need more and more of health infrastructure in terms of, doctors and nurses? It's more and more required because we came face to face with COVID. Is because of that, you think?
Absolutely. As we mentioned, we realised from the COVID pandemic that the well-being of a community is dependent on the health system. And so you need to make sure that those who comprise your health system, as in nurses and doctors and pharmacists and allied health professionals, are of high quality and well looked after themselves.
And Dr. Susan, when you say midwives and nurses, is that similar or any different?
So historically, it used to be the 1 degree. Now you can actually just get a degree in midwifery.
Okay.
You don't have to do your base bachelor's and then do an additional year for midwifery. You can actually go straight in and do midwifery and not do your base. So
that's the only difference.
That's the difference. That's a change. That's a significant change globally. Not all countries do that, but just recently in Sharjah, they're offering and also in Fatma College, they've got approved a midwifery program.
Amazing.
Fatma College in Sharjah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Superb. Dr. Susan, we have this, back home that, everybody should become engineers, everyone should become doctors.
Yeah.
To change that mindset, we also need nurses. We also need to, how do we take that shift? Sometimes our parents want to be proud.
Yes.
That, my son is studying, MBBS.
Especially when son comes and says that I want to be a nurse.
Yes.
Yeah, my daughter wants to study,
Yeah.
So how do we change that mindset?
And it is a cultural perception.
Correct.
And it is slow but sure. It's about showcasing what nursing does rather than people just thinking, well, it's bedpans and blood pressure.
Correct, yeah.
It's so much more than that.
Of course.
Right.
And so it is through conversations like this and others. There's a phenomenal, like Johnson & Johnson, the huge company worldwide.
Sure.
They are an ambassador of the image of nursing. They do some phenomenal work on trying to change cultural perceptions of nursing.
Okay.
And I think historically we've also learnt that there is an aptitude for health. Just because you've got the grade doesn't mean that's the career for you.
Right.
And we know, and we talk about it often, we've all come across individuals in the health system that shouldn't be there necessarily because they've just done that because they've got the highest mark or something like that. And
Yeah,
that's not
it's
the way to
been
go.
usually.
So aptitude test is so important. We've all done it. We've all given. But makes sense to choose the career path. Yeah.
And awareness at
Yes.
the same time. The more people are aware of it and, the branches that we have. Before we let you go, if you can, for all those people, we know that it's a noble profession. And I think you said it so rightly. Not everybody is suitable for certain industries. Doesn't matter on whatever grades you have. People who want to get into this industry, is there something you would like to advise or put in some, words so they know what they're heading for?
So as I mentioned, there's so much work going on the level of the ministry level to try and change and organise the cultural perception of nursing.
No more 12-hour shift.
Yes. Flexibility.
Minimum pay 50K.
That's right. Flexibility.
Free accommodation.
He knows
free
the
food.
inside news.
That's right.
They work so hard.
That's right.
Healthcare industry.
So, for example, in Australia, there's a huge review of the pay structure yet again because of the recognition that there are nurses leaving the profession.
Oh.
Like there's a 5.9 million deficit globally on nurses across the globe.
Okay.
And so nurses can go anywhere, anywhere. They're in such high demand. They could choose to go to America, they could choose to go to London, they can choose to go anywhere. They can choose to come to the UAE because they're in such high demand. So you will never, if you choose a career in nursing, you will never be without a job. Never.
Amazing.
Never be without a job. I think the other really important thing is that when they're looking at a ministerial level, and you just mentioned about the cultural perception, I welcome invitations. I welcome invitations from schools to have us come and talk to them and their students. We run a wonderful program. We do summer internship programs where we can partner with hospitals and have students actually who have a thought that this is something that they might like to do, and that they can go in and experience it.
Fantastic.
We ran a similar program at Cleveland Clinic, and it was really interesting that, you'd have students come in at the beginning of the program and say, yes, I'm going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
But then at the end of it, they go,
You're right,
no,
yeah.
I want to do nursing.
Wow.
So they,
That's
I want
great.
to be a pharmacist or something. So, creating opportunities for people to really see it firsthand.
And pursue it, yeah.
So get involved with University of Wollongong to know better where you belong, actually. When exactly is the open day again, Dr. Susan?
So on Saturday.
Coming Saturday?
This Saturday the 4th.
Do we have to register? And the details we can...
On the website.
On the website,
Universityofwollongong.com.
Yes. So you can go to the website and register.
UOW Dubai.ac.ae.
Yeah,
That's the website. तो
That's
जाइए
the
website पे.
website.
sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Susan.
Thank you.
Words of wisdom and, of course, the therapeutic voice that you're blessed with, already into a noble profession, but there is something which is icing on the cake, and I think even your perfume has a very calming effect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for your
once again.
time. Thank you so
Cheers.
much.
This is Talk 100.3.